Ever accidentally left your front door open and come back to find your snacks missing? Well, that's what developers are doing, but instead of snacks, it's API tokens, SSH keys, and cloud credentials walking out the door. In this episode, we're diving into a rapidly growing cyber threat. Hackers are aggressively scanning the internet for exposed Git configuration files, and they're not just looking, they're finding gold. Stay tuned for that, but first, a huge thanks to Stonefly for sponsoring this video. Now back to the news. Let's get into it. Over the weekend of April 20th to 21st, 2025, researchers at GreyNoise observed a dramatic spike in scanning activity. We're talking nearly 4,800 unique IP addresses per day, conducting internet-wide searches specifically targeting exposed .git config files. That's not random curiosity. That's a coordinated recon operation. Now, if you're thinking, what's so dangerous about a Git config file? Let's break it down. Now, if you're thinking, what's so dangerous about a Git config file? Let's break it down. A Git config file can contain remote repository URLs, branch data deployment hooks, and automation scripts, and most importantly, authentication tokens and credentials. These are essentially the keys to the kingdom. And when web developers forget to block access to the .git directory, which happens more often than you'd think, they're leaving the door wide open for threat actors. This isn't new, but it's growing fast. The surge in scanning is part of a worrying trend. According to GreyNoise, these scans come in waves, and this latest one is the largest wave recorded yet. Countries most targeted include Singapore, the United States, Spain, Germany, the UK, and India. Let's talk precedent. You might remember the EmeraldWhale operation that Sysdig reported back in October 2024. That campaign harvested over 15,000 cloud credentials by sweeping for vulnerable Git directories. It was a textbook case of how this tactic works, and the consequences were severe. In fact, the same method was used to compromise the Internet Archive's Wayback Machine. Threat actors breached their systems by harvesting secrets from exposed Git configurations, then maintained access even as the organization scrambled to lock them out. Now fast forward to April 2025, GreyNoise flags the biggest scanning event to date. If that doesn't ring alarm bells for DevOps teams, it should. Here's why this matters. Hard-coded secrets in Git repos are a known risk, but even mature teams overlook Git config access. Once stolen, API tokens and SSH keys can be used to pivot through cloud environments, impersonate users, and exfiltrate sensitive data. Privileged accounts can be hijacked, giving attackers the kind of access you'd normally only see in advanced persistent threats. And once the attackers are in, it's not just about stealing data. They can implant backdoors, move laterally across networks, and compromise build pipelines silently. So, how do we stop this? Cybersecurity experts recommend a few critical steps. Block public access to .git directories through web server rules or firewalls. Configure servers to reject access to hidden files and folders by default. Continuously monitor access logs for suspicious requests targeting .git config. Rotate any exposed credentials immediately. Don't wait to see if they get used. Let's be clear. This isn't just a dev mistake. It's a threat surface, and attackers are scaling their scans with automation tools that make it cheap, fast, and global. If you're a developer, sysadmin, or DevOps engineer, this isn't someone else's problem. It's a config line away from being your breach. To wrap up, we're now in an era where exposed Git configs aren't just sloppy, they're dangerous. Attackers have already shown what they can do with them, and now they're doing it more frequently and at greater scale than ever before. And now a word from our sponsor. Get a 70 terabytes air-gapped and immutable Veeam, Rubrik, Commvault Site Recovery, Backup and Disaster Recovery Appliance for $7,995. Contact sales at stonefly.com for details. So triple check your deployment processes. Automate security scanning in your CI/CD pipelines. And remember, if your Git config is exposed to the web, you're not just leaking metadata. You're handing out your cloud keys to whoever wants them. And with that, thanks for tuning in. If this story opened your eyes, Hit that like button and subscribe for more real-time cybersecurity breakdowns. Stay safe, stay sharp, and don't let your Git secrets be someone else's jackpot.